This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the News of the Week for May 14th, 2022. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. School sued over transition. A mom in Florida is suing her daughter's school over the administration keeping the secret about transitioning from her. Let us assume that this is medically necessary, even though there's not a single reason to believe that. Let the mother know, just like you would for any other type of surgery. I needed my mom's permission to get Advil from the school nurse, and something tells me that rule is still in place. The only reason that the school would keep this a secret is that the administration wants to take the place of the parent. I have said it before, and I will say it again. One of the biggest mistakes of the 20th century was to let the government tend to our children. However, schools are not the only places where politics takes center stage in learning. A queer library president. Libraries around the country have been accused of grooming children for the gay agenda. Most organizations, when met with that accusation, would try to slow down and back off. However, when you are unhinged enough to reject basic anatomy in the name of political correctness, you double down. The American Library Association has picked a president that wants to make libraries queerer. This person has spent her career politicizing libraries for both the gay agenda and class struggle. In her own words, queer theory provides a useful theoretical frame for rethinking the stable fixed categories and systems of naming that characterize library organization schemes and strategies for helping users navigate them. Viewing cataloging and classification from a queer perspective is one that challenges the idea that classification and subject language can ever be corrected once and for all. This is no longer about the push for knowledge and wisdom. This is all about politics, just like the modern educational system. Conservatives surrendered the culture war, and now we have to make up for lost time, using Florida law to ban the Bible. It is never enough for the misotheists. Not only do they have to control every aspect of the child's life and bring in anti-scientific evolutionary teachings into the classroom, now they are using a law that was meant to stop sexual ideology and CRT from getting into schools to try to ban the Bible. Their reasoning does not even appear sensible on the surface. They posit that there is murder, rape, and worse in the good book. You will find the same thing in the history textbooks, because the Bible is not just good for our moral code. It is a recording of what happened. Oh, I am sure that they will not try to ban the Quran, since it calls for all non-Muslims to be killed at the edge of the sword. This is all about trying to force Christians into a corner by taking something that the law was never meant to do to attack Christians. This has nothing to do with the contents of the Holy Bible, but as misotheists, they hate the Bible. Pro-death crowd, unhinged. Okay, that headline does go without saying, but I digress. I am sure that you have heard about the arson attacks on pro-life pregnancy centers and the graffiti, but have you seen this video?
I'm killing the baby.
In case you could not hear this lunatic, she was saying, "I'm killing the baby." Again, this is the same political alignment that has no qualms about burning down cities. They are willing to burn down centers that help women deal with a child without killing said child. These people know full well that this is a child and know that they will be killing a child. Like those who put their children to the fires of Molech, these people are more than willing to kill their own children. Not for favorable weather, but just so that they do not have to deal with him. If the Canaanites were still around, they would put these so-called clinics in temples to Baal. Democrats are the party of slavery and death. Riots at the Kavanagh house. This was the scene outside of Justice Brett Kavanaugh's house.
Activists now planning to protest outside of Justice Samuel Alito's house after a weekend of outrage over the leaked Supreme Court opinion on Roe.
One of these so-called protesters went on to say this.
This is you don't get to take away our bodily autonomy and enjoy your Saturday night at home. You get to do one or the other.
And what does it mean to you to be marching to the justices' homes?
This is personal, so we're going to take it to the personal space.
Okay.
They did this, not us.
First of all, it is not your body, it is the child's body. Second of all, you did not see conservatives lining up outside the houses of judges that sided with vaccine mandates. That is because we do not go straight to unhinged protesting. Third of all, imagine our outrage every time another gun legislation, free speech violation, unreasonable search and seizure.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Or any other unjust power grab comes from an elected representative. We have a completely different method of airing our grievances. Either way, this is a crime punishable by 10 years, a fine, or both. But Brandon will not follow through on that. Who leaked the document? As I am sure that you know by now, someone in the Supreme Court leaked a draft document that could overturn Roe v. Wade. Although this will not make abortion illegal, it will return the right back to the states. The question is, who leaked the document? Quite honestly, we do not know who leaked the document to Politico. The fake news thinks that it is a conservative for reasons they will get to later. I believe that it was a Democrat who leaked the document. That way, there was time to organize the protests that we talked about a moment ago. There's a certain clerk that has ties to Politico, and he is staunchly pro-death. I suspect that it is this person based on these two facts. I am not going to give the name of the individual, nor am I going to be dogmatic about it. This may just be a case of one person sending a file to the wrong person. However, the same people that stand to lose with this ruling are the same people who will do whatever it takes to change the justices' minds. Soros and Clinton target Musk. Liberals are doing whatever it takes to stop Twitter. A large group of liberal activists sent a letter asking people to no longer advertise on Twitter. Musk began his investigation immediately and found something interesting. The groups were funded by George Soros, Clinton, and several unions. These people have never been interested in debate or discussion, but obedience to the liberal agenda. This is why they do not like Twitter, because it is no longer under the jurisdiction of Operation Mockingbird. This battle is far from over, and will not be over even after the 2024 election. Once freedom of speech is available through Twitter, it will be harder for the misinformation of the liberal industrial complex to stand. Navy personnel fired. Victims of Communism Day. Florida is where a large number of refugees from Cuba decide to settle. They are, of course, fleeing the oppressive communist regime there, while also begging Democrats here not to implement the same policies that they fled. Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill for children to learn about the victims of communism. The death toll of communist regimes is incalculable, specifically because they control the media and what gets out. The media industrial complex and the Democratic Party consistently try to tell those that still listen to them that this is not real socialism, even though it is literally the implementation of all of the things that Karl Marx wanted. State control of the media, education, and means of production. Not to mention the elimination of religion, since he considered it to be the opiate of the masses. The only difference is that it did not work out in any way as he planned. Either way, just like students need to learn the evils of slavery and the importance of the civil rights movement, both of which are still in Florida textbooks, they need to learn about this, lest what is happening in Cuba, Venezuela, China, and North Korea happen in America. 2,000 Mules. The FBI against America. It is no secret that Project Veritas has ruffled more than a few feathers. Whether it is them producing video evidence that goes against the virus narrative, whether it is them producing video evidence that shows shadow banning and censorship on social media, whether it is them producing video evidence that shows teachers literally indoctrinating kids to one extreme political position, or any of their other exposés where we hear the words straight from the person's mouth. When they got what an informant claimed was Ashley Biden's diary, they decided not to publish it. Project Veritas even went so far as to go to the police to have it returned to its rightful owner. This was not enough for the DOJ, who came to the door of James O'Keefe with a battering ram, first thing in the morning. They not only confiscated his electronic devices, but also took information related to anonymous sources. The process was the punishment. The DOJ and the FBI went around every law on the books, including going behind the back of a judge that ordered them to stop in order to keep their investigation going. O'Keefe, when testifying before a committee, said that there needs to be an overhaul of how the DOJ and FBI operate. One of his suggestions was an end to secret warrants and FISA courts to allow for transparency. Again, the process was the punishment. The FBI knows that they cannot get anything on him, but they have to make it as painful as possible so that no one will ever cross the deep state again. Chinese Turncoats. An Australian spy chief has noted that the leadership of Pooh Bear has led many of his officials to want to turn around and become informants. While the CCP is difficult to enter, there are supposedly people in the regime that want to come forward. I cannot personally attest to any truth in this, and you'll have to get more details from the Australian intelligence agencies. With the CCP possibly planning to install a naval base in the Pacific that would interfere with our trading relations with Australia, we need to be alarmed. However, this intelligence agent may have just been blowing smoke on the matter. Either way, China and Russia are both geopolitical threats. Lori Lightfoot calls for war. It should be abundantly clear by this point that liberals are not happy about not being able to kill their children in any state in the country. The mere idea that individual states may or may not pass laws is so foreign to them that they cannot even fathom the idea. This results in them claiming that the Supreme Court will make abortion illegal, which in turn resulted in the doxing of the Supreme Court justices' personal residences. However, this was not enough for Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. She called on her supporters to prepare for war over this ruling. To my friends in the LGBTQ+ community, the Supreme Court is coming for us next. This moment has to be a call to arms. How do you interpret that, other than an armed insurrection by the same party that is willing to burn down cities to get what they want? There is no reason whatsoever to believe that this means anything other than preparing for war over something that will never happen. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And if you enjoyed this content, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. And also don't forget to follow me on social media.